Hey guys, Tommy here. In this video, I'm going to explain how Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies work. This is a more basic subject, but I've been getting a lot of requests for this. A lot of people have actually mentioned this to me in real life, how there's a need for this, so I'm going to create this for you. I'm just going to bust it out real quick. I feel like I have a pretty good way of explaining Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I've explained it to a lot of people in real life, so just going to share this with you. Even if you're familiar with the subject, it should be entertaining for you guys. So, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a type of internet money. It's a digital money. And of course, we already have digital money. We have your money in your bank account, PayPal, Venmo, credit cards. These are all already digital money. So what does Bitcoin do differently? Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are a type of money that's free from any existing nation's control. And this is what sets it apart. Just think about that for a second. Dollars you're using, all the currency you're using in the US is dollars. In the European Union, it's euros, and so on. There hasn't been competition to these currencies before, and that's because the nations wouldn't allow it. So the best way to expand on this is, I want you to think about Napster, if you know what that is. Napster was a music sharing site that was popular like 10 or 15 years ago. And of course, Napster got shut down. The reason it got shut down is because it was able to be shut down, and Napster had a central server, and obviously all the creators of music and companies whose business it was didn't like the information to be shared for free, or the music or movies or whatnot. So they targeted the central server, had the authorities go shut it down, and then overnight it's gone. So once Napster got shut down, people still continue to download music and movies, but instead of using Napster, they used torrents. Torrents still survive today, and the reason they do is because torrents are peer-to-peer. This is the cornerstone technology behind cryptocurrencies, peer-to-peer technology. So what that means is, rather than being a central server where everything is stored in one place, the information is shared and stored on everyone's computer individually across the world. So you've got someone in Germany, someone in Japan, someone in China, someone in the US. You can have people in every country of the world sharing the information, and that is impossible to shut down. Consider too that every country has different laws and whatnot too, so it's very likely going to exist somewhere. So that's why peer-to-peer exists today, and Bitcoin basically uses that same peer-to-peer protocol and brings it to money. So hopefully that gives you a good understanding of it. I feel like that's a pretty good way of explaining it to people so they understand, okay, it's a digital money, it's decentralized, and kind of give you an idea of the possibilities that can create on it. So let me expand a little more on it. Within cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin specifically, and Bitcoin started this, is miners. Miners basically secure the network by running a computer program that all the other miners run as well, and they're basically in consensus about the program they're running. These computers work together, give their computing power, and they basically secure the network by doing so, and as a reward, they get a mining reward. That's a basic idea of how mining works. And I will mention too, this was the first way of securing the network. I feel like there's better ways now that are becoming more on the scene, but this gives you a general idea of how it works. So do you have to mine Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies? No, you don't have to mine at all, by the way. I've mined only a few days in my life, and that was just to basically experience it. It's not necessary to do that. Again, just a method of securing it for those of you guys who are wondering that. So another question that I received recently is, someone asked me, how do you know it's not going to die? How do you know that cryptocurrencies are going to continue? And to respond to that, I would say, the reason why cryptocurrencies are set to continue is because of the technology behind them. It's like the internet. How do we know the internet's not going to die? Because the internet opened up so many doors that didn't exist in the past. And it's the same thing with cryptocurrencies. Some other information, I've mentioned this in the past, but again, especially for those of you guys new here, if we're looking at trends, cryptocurrency adoption is still pretty low. We're at about 0.3% adoption. That's about 20 million people in the world, and this is roughly doubling every year. But this trend of users joining cryptocurrency has continued to increase, and I expect it to, because of the technology it brings. Let me give you an example of some of the things that it will change. I was talking to a friend of mine, Ben, who I just met recently, and excuse me, we were talking about how, telecom is really bad in Germany. Data plans are really expensive, and they're kind of like that in the U.S., but I feel like they're quite expensive here. So we were talking about, if someone created a satellite company and sent that into space, and they're using cryptocurrency for accepting payment, harder to regulate that as it's in space. And these are the kinds of things that would change with cryptocurrencies. Right now, there's monopolies with telecom companies. There's no reason for our data to be that expensive as it is. And I've seen other countries where data is extremely cheap. So with this kind of technology, you're passing these barriers, and truly cryptocurrency is a benefit for humanity. So I have a lot of love for it. Some other use cases. Where else would cryptocurrency be useful? Well, here's an example is if you remember when you were a teenager, or if you are a teenager, I certainly didn't have access to credit cards very easily. You're kind of using your mom's credit card type thing, bank account. Well, this enables kids, especially in countries that don't have good banking anyway, to essentially have a bank account, have a debit, credit card, whatnot, and they could use that to pay for what they want. Steam is a popular video game platform. You might be familiar with it. They already accept Bitcoin. And on that note, I think them and other sites will begin to accept more cryptocurrencies than just Bitcoin soon enough. All major cryptocurrencies, in some way, they would be able to accept that. So anyway, you see a use case there. There are a ton of use cases. We could probably make a whole video exploring all the different use cases. They're just some ideas for you guys to think about the potential uses. Okay, so hopefully this kind of gives you a basic idea of what it is. This was a very rough video, but I know I need to get out there for a while, so hopefully it's helpful for you guys. Hopefully you like it. Another common question is, how do you get started? I made a video on how to get started with Coinbase. Coinbase is like the first step of getting into cryptocurrency, where you can turn your fiat dollars, whether that's dollars or euros, into cryptocurrency. And there's some different sites for different countries, but this is a big one for those of you in the US and most of Europe, I think. I'm going to make another video here soon that gives you guys kind of like a basic tutorial of the basic things you need to know, how to exchange different cryptocurrencies, how to know what's going on in the space, where to follow, other sites and tools you need, things you need to be careful of, and that kind of stuff. So I'll make another video on that will be coming up pretty soon, but I just want to get this one out there first. So hopefully you guys like it. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I wish you guys the best, and I'll see you on the next one.